Hi, this is Greg with Duff Makes It, and we're going to build the Tardis from Doctor Who. And there you see a very precise high-tech drawing that I did of this Tardis. There I am laying it out on the board, the wood. I'm using 1/4-inch plywood. So I think it's a maple. I use 80 grit sandpaper to sand stuff with, and I put that on a sanding block. And the reason why I did that, on the edges when I cut it, it'll splinter really easy. And you don't want to shove a splinter in your hand, so you put it on a block like that and it keeps you from doing that. And here's a strip. You can see there I've drawn it out a little bit more. Here I am cutting it. See how it splinters right there, and you use that sanding block and it won't shove it in your hand. Or you can use a knife and score it, and then when you cut it, it doesn't splinter as bad. See how on the left side it doesn't splinter? Nowhere near as bad as it did. And there's some more pieces I'm cutting out of this thin plywood. Here I am putting it together with this pin nailer, and sometimes it'll blow out, and I've got this pin nailer so it'd be less likely for it to blow out the sides. It's very hard to put a nail through that without doing that. Here we got some of the sides done, and the back and the bottom, and it's a little short there, but it won't show. I'll fix that later. There's the inside, and I didn't do really anything on the inside of this. You'll see later on, I just painted it and made those strips for the front because I'm going to have the doors on the front. One of the doors opens on the front of it, so all the rest of them they don't, so it doesn't have to. I could just put solid pieces of wood there, and there I am clamping, gluing it, the door opening there, gluing the door opening up. I wanted to show you these different nails that I use in my shop. This is a trim nailer. Use it on different types of trim work, crown molding and stuff like that. Here's a brad nail. Use it on smaller things, whatever you want to use it on, but just smaller stuff in this. And you can get these in different lengths. It's the gauge, the diameter of the nail that makes them different. And there's the pin nailer. And if you notice, the trim nail has a head. The brad nailer has a head, but the pin nailer does not. It has no head on it. It's very tiny, which is why I'm using, there's a number 2 pencil. See how small that is? It's literally like a pen. And the reason why I do use those in this wood is because it's very thin. It's a little less than 1/4 of an inch. It's like 3/16 inch. Some of it's even smaller. Some of it's even thinner, rather. So I wanted to show you these, is why I don't use these, even though you think it will fit. You know, even though you think it will go in that wood, it will. But these things have a tendency to curve, even though they're short or long. It doesn't matter. They still want to curve, and they'll blow out. And what I'll show you here is, you'll see on here where, well, let me see if I can get it for you. You'll see where it blew out right here. right there on the inside. So I don't want that to happen. And it's very difficult to do in this thin wood, not to get that to blow out when you put a nail in there, you know. So what I do is I'll just pull those nails out once the glue dries, so you don't have to worry about the nail being in there, because I'm gonna put some wood in there and it'll get in the way. So I just wanted to show you the difference in these three types of nails that I use. The next thing I'm gonna do is I got some thicker strips that I'm gonna put on the sides here to make a reveal, and I'll show you that when I get it on there. And I have to put those on all the way around four corners before I can do the base. And that's the next step on this. So here are the strips that I made for the corners, sanding the edges of them down so they'll fit flush. And the top and the bottom, I'm sanding those edges down so that they're all flush. Here I am gluing up those thicker pieces. These are about a 1/2 inch thick. And these are going around the four corners. And you'll see later on the reveal that it makes around the edges. So I'm just trying to mimic the actual Doctor Who Tardis, the way it was, the way it's built. Actually, it's, you know, a police call box, so it's the way the county or government, whatever, over there in England made them. However they designed them and made them. It just happens to be the TARDIS. So, and there I drew out the doors just to get a look at it, see what it looks like, and just to get scale too, to make sure I got the scale somewhat correct. And I glued those top pieces on there too. Here's the base. I got to put a base on it, and you can see how I made the angles. And it doesn't sit down in there like that. It actually sits on top of that, but I just checking to see my cuts. There's the base with the top on it, and then there it is sitting on top of it. And there it is again, sitting on top of the base. And then there's the bottom. I didn't have it attached at that point. I needed to do a few things to it. I went ahead and set the top of it on the base. I've got a lot of work to do on the inside to clean it up, and I'm going to do some more trim work. There's a lot of trim work that has to be done. All the doors, you know, on this side and the windows all the way around have to be finished, and the doors over here, I'm going to make these doors so they open up, and so you can see the inside of it when we're finished with it. Right now this thing measures 26 3/4, something like that. But I got to put a top on it, so it's going to go up past 30. It'll probably be closer to 36 inches when I'm finished with it, tall. And then the width of it on the base is about 17. It's about 17 and a half on the width on the base. And here's the base where I'm puttying up all the nail holes, and so I can sand them smooth. And there it is sitting on top of the base. There I am puttying up some more nail holes. And I put this is where I'm gluing it to the base. I put those weights in there to help hold it down. And so the glue would attach really well. I put nails in there too. There's some little strips, and you'll see what they go to. I put them right there. See how it makes a double reveal? I just wanted to put as much detail in it as I possibly could. Just to try to match what the actual call box looks like. There's the nails on the inside where I nailed it. I ended up just breaking those nails off and sanding that all smooth inside and painting it. I didn't make it so there was anything on the inside. It's just painted black. Layouts of the doors. And the good thing about this, I didn't have to build but one actual door that opened. Even though I made two separate doors on the front of it, I went ahead and made one of them where it was just glued and nailed in. And I'm just continuing to add more detail with the doors and everything. I had to put all those cut all those little cross pieces, and I puttied a lot of that stuff up. I left some of it. I wanted it to look old, so I didn't do a lot of making it look nice because I wanted it to look old anyway. We just keep adding pieces and adding pieces. Here I am working on the windows. I had to cut these little tiny strips. My table saw was out of commission because I got a small table saw and I got to get a switch for it. So I had to cut all this stuff by hand on a bandsaw, on a stand-up bandsaw, and it doesn't work that great, but it's okay. It worked good enough. And I've got a lot of the windows done at this point. Well, I appreciate it. This is the end of this video. Join me for the next video for the final build of the Tardis. And so there's only 2 videos in this series. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.